You ever think about what secrets might be hiding right out in the open? You know, in the world of intelligence, the biggest clues, they're not always locked away in some secret vault. Nope, they're all around us. And now, there's a powerful new kind of detective that's learning how to see all of it at once. So, yeah, let's get into it.
Okay, just look at this number, 80 to 90%. I mean, that's a staggering figure, right? And it points to a really fundamental truth about how modern intelligence works.
That's right. That's the amount of intelligence that actually comes from publicly available data. We're not talking about spies and secret agents here. We're talking about the absolute flood of information we all create every single day. Social media posts, news reports, even satellite images. So the real challenge isn't about finding secrets anymore. It's about finding the truth in this just ocean of data.
And that has a name, of course. It's called open source intelligence, or OSINT for short. Now, for a human analyst trying to sift through this digital mountain of information, it's pretty much an impossible task. But what if you had a tool that could read everything, see everything, and connect all the dots in just a matter of seconds?
Well, this is exactly where AI enters the picture. It's turning that impossible task into an absolutely incredible opportunity.
So think about it like this. For decades, right, finding the truth was like finding a needle in a haystack. But now, with AI, it's not just that it finds the needle faster, it can search the entire haystack in seconds, analyzing everything and spotting patterns and connections a human could just never, ever see. We're talking about a massive leap in both speed and scale.
Okay, so let's look at how this is actually playing out in the real world. Because in the right hands, AI-powered OSINT is, well, it's becoming one of the most powerful tools for justice and accountability that we have ever seen.
And who's using this stuff? Well, pretty much everyone. We've got militaries tracking threats, corporations assessing risks, all the way to investigative journalists and human rights NGOs who are using it to hold the powerful to account. Seriously, this technology is popping up everywhere.
Let's dig into a really specific and frankly powerful example. Think about the conflict in Ukraine. The sheer volume of digital evidence out there, videos, photos, social media posts, witness accounts, it was just overwhelming. And this quote from a Ukrainian official, it really reveals the power of this approach. They said AI tools help them process huge amounts of information within a few hours. Hours, think about that. And that incredible speed, it directly led to identifying over 400 potential war crime suspects. That's just wow.
And it's not just happening in war zones either. Here in the US, after the January 6th Capitol riot, investigators were just buried under thousands of hours of video from social media and cameras. Well, AI-powered facial recognition and data analysis were absolutely instrumental. They helped identify and charge nearly 90% of the participants. That is a completely unprecedented investigative feat. But, and this is a big but, this incredible power has a dark side. A tool that can find a criminal in a crowd can just as easily find a peaceful protester. So what happens when the algorithm gets it wrong?
Yeah, what is the cost of this incredible power? This is the question we absolutely have to be asking ourselves, because the very same technology that can deliver justice can also create profound injustice.
So let's look at a completely different case study. During the Delhi riots back in 2020, police used AI facial recognition technology to go through protest footage and identify people.
29. Just remember that number.
That's how many people were arrested based solely on an AI facial match. I want to repeat that. No corroborating evidence, just what the algorithm said. And the devastating part, most of them were later found to be totally innocent. An algorithm's mistake became a complete human catastrophe.
There's a quote from The Wire that just sums this up perfectly. AI took over policing, and ordinary people bore the brunt. Yeah, when we put blind faith in the machine, it's real ordinary people who pay the price. Okay, so how does this stuff actually work? Let's take a quick peek inside the AI toolkit just to understand the engines that are driving this whole revolution. It really boils down to three core technologies. First, you've got natural language processing, or NLP. That's the part that understands and analyzes text. Then there's computer vision, which is all about identifying objects, faces, and locations in images and videos. And finally, you have predictive analytics, which is great at spotting hidden patterns and trying to forecast future trends.
And these concepts, they're not just theoretical. They power real-world tools you probably heard of. We're talking about things like GPT-4 summarizing documents, or Clearview AI's super controversial facial recognition tech, or Palantir's huge data fusion platforms. These are the actual engines of the AI OSINT revolution.
Which, of course, brings us right back to that central conflict. This whole thing is a double-edged sword. It's a classic dual-use technology. For every incredible benefit, there seems to be a corresponding and pretty scary risk.
And this really lays that conflict bare. On one side, you have this amazing empowerment. The ability to get justice for war crimes, to bring accountability to criminals, to make investigations incredibly efficient. But on the other side, you have surveillance, the risk of bias leading to false arrests, the chilling effect this can have on free speech, and of course, the steady erosion of our personal privacy.
And, maybe unsurprisingly, the law is really playing catch-up here. You've got these landmark cases, like the ACLU versus Clearview AI, that are just now starting to challenge the legality of all of this. Scraping public data to build these massive biometric databases. They're asking the question, just because a photo is public, does that give anyone the right to use your face in a permanent, searchable database?
And here's what might be the most critical thing to understand. This idea that who rules AI commands intelligence. But that power, it's no longer just for governments. It's for anyone with the right tools. A corporation, a small nonprofit, even just a determined individual can now wield the kind of investigative power that used to be reserved for national spy agencies.
So that leaves us with one last, really critical question. When AI can turn literally anyone into a super sleuth, who watches the watchers? In a world where every single thing we do in public can be collected, analyzed, and stored forever, who's in charge? Who's watching them? And maybe most importantly, who gets to write the rules?